Hey,
no, because
got
this
you
is
a
going to be in
five.
an article. I'm not going to give it away until I get paid for
There's not
it.
going to be an article.
Yeah, he doesn't
So
give it away.
anyway,
for
Team
free.
Honda started at our cabin up in Wrightwood, the Van Wagner cabin built by Lynn Van Wagner in 1942, from stones hauled down the mountain
Wow.
by Betty Van Wagner. And years later, that was where we went every weekend to go riding in the high desert around Phelan, and we drive out to Luzerne Valley, sometimes Adelanto.
No, right in there.
And when Honda started testing dirt bikes, and they, first with Jim Wilson and other guys, Jim Conley, some other guys, the mechanics that they got were part of our weekend riding group. So Dennis Blanton, John Rosensteel, Dix Erickson was fabrication, Ron Murakami. All those guys were our weekend riding group. And I got into racing because those guys would see the fastest guys in the world when this kid on a SL 125 would start dusting them all, race through the desert, and I'd spank Sammy Tanner when that was in his heyday.
Yeah, that was
72,
his
right?
heyday.
And so I was 13 years old, and I'd pull away from him on the fire roads of Phelan.
So you got in the right
And
helmet
these guys
ever
went,
since?
tell my mom, this kid needs a race. I wanted to race. My mom's like, we don't have any money, And so Team Honda then decided to form. That was the nucleus of the guys that ended up Team Honda, the mechanics, Dennis Blanton, John
Right.
R. Roy Turner was a service manager, Pacific Coast Honda, and Roy Turner, my mom told the other guys, you should hire Roy. He was part of our group of weekend riding. And so they hired Roy as a mechanic in '73 for Rich Eierstedt. Anyway, when CR 125 Elsinore came out, the mechanics kind of pooled their money, and Dennis Blanton and his wife Wendy ended up just buying a CR 125, and I went out and rode my first race at Ascot when I was 14. And a year and a half later, I raced my first national.
Wow.
So from no race to first national in like a year and a half.
It's impressive.
There you go.
And tell us a little story about the first Honda factory workshop.
Well, that was on Gardena Boulevard, and it was right at the intersection. It was one street over from Alondra. Honda's 100 West Alondra Boulevard location was the Honda headquarters since 1961 or something.
Right.
And then they kept buying up the block, and they had this little tiny workshop where that Team Honda, they bought that building,
Right.
and then all the very first works bikes were all out of that little shop that was on Gardena Boulevard as part of the whole block complex.
And it started off as the building was the Toro lawnmower shop or
well,
something?
right next door was the Toro distributor, and so they kept buying chunks of the Toro distributor. and
Here,
it
bring in
all ended
another
up-
factory Honda rider.
So it went from red Toro to red works bikes. So.
We're telling Honda stories.
I know, you got 10 minutes to stop that.
It was a 15-minute grace period.
He better not do that to you.
He tried. He tried.
Donnie, what Honda stories do you got
Honda stories.
that we can share.
that we can share?
In front of your wife.
Walk away, 'cause I don't want to hear these.
I've got some girl ones we can share. You might want to go in the other room, honey. Donnie, I won't get you in too much trouble, brother.
Warren's talking about how Team Honda started.
How it started?
Yeah.
I'm not that old, so I couldn't go there.
You were still riding Meg Race.
He rode Shoemaker Yamahas back then.
I don't think I was born.
No, he wasn't riding Shoemaker. He wasn't riding Shoemaker Yamahas back then.
No, when Warren
In the
came up.
s- yeah, in the 70s when he was.
You rode those bikes after I did.
Well,
I was on Can-Am's when he was. Well, I was riding Yamaha, then Can-Am when he was on Honda, probably.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you start for FMF first?
Me? Yeah. Well, so Don and I went through Ed Denbo's industrial arts program at Boulder Grandy High School. Don built that Marty Tripes replica bike. He owns Sand Cars Unlimited,
Okay.
really high-end sand car, and does all those custom bikes. Well, Don and I were in the same shop class in high school, and I would weld pipes, and I would use my CR 125 as a jig and make FMF pipes in my garage. And then I'd take them to Donnie, and he paid me $5 a pipe.
Nice.
Not this Donnie did.
No, that's
Donnie.
hey, Donnie's still paying this guy's $5.
Yeah, $5 a bike. Yeah, they're going ready. The difference is I got cash. Those guys all get a W-2 out of that $5, so I feel sorry for them. They don't even get commission for crying out loud. So anyway, so anyway, I learned to make pipes, and I got pretty good where I just started to make the pipes, you know, the wraparound pipes and all that. And then I started making way more money racing than I did making pipes, so I quit making pipes.
All right.
Here, you can joke. Mitch is filming.
You can get in there and
telling
tell
tales.
some stories.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Hey,
Wait till Larry gets her.
they're all BS. Come on.
Larry. I don't BS that well.
How old is this jacket? That's
1980, whatever.
I was going to say, because I know I stopped working for Suzuki in 80, and that's older than that, or
I
a
think-
little newer than
I think
that.
it's probably 82, 80. Did you have one of these?
No, that was.
Do you want one?
That was
Jap-
either, that was either 81 or 83.
The full Japanese, you know,
Yeah.
thing.
I have,
Come on, stories.
those kind of yellow nylon. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like this yellow.
Warren told us Honda story, so let's hear a Suzuki story now.
Oh man, I got a good one.
Okay.
When he quit Suzuki,
Right.
I got his bike for the last part of that year, right?
Yeah.
And it was a Works 250. That thing was pretty bitchin'. So I raced it in like the CMC, what's it?
What they call it?
Transcal.
Transcal series.
Transcal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a bitchin' bike. So he handed it down to me. And it
Same
worked
number
really-
too, right?
No, it was 28.
Oh,
No.
when did you?
I was 16. I had the same number, 16 in 1983.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an 82, and then you had an 83.
Yeah, because everyone says, hey, that's Scott Burnworth. I'm all, no, it's not. That's Warren Reid.
Yeah. Still, Facebook people get mixed up.
Yeah.
Number 16 on Suzuki. There's not that much difference between the years. So.
Yeah.
Well, you know how you can tell who's who.
Oh yeah, we don't know.
If it says Joker on the back, it wasn't Scott.
That's all I got for right now.
Man.
Wait till after there's beer
Wait
served.
till I get some beers.
You get beers.